I'm Peter Valler. I have been married 43 and a bit years. 2 children, both grown up, 2 grandchildren who live just down the road here. Worked in London 30 odd years in various ad agencies, design companies. My good lady said, how about retiring? And I thought, good idea. So I've been retired now for nearly 7 years. Those last few years, I'd become more and more uncomfortable with big meetings particularly, relying on note-taking, making stuff up, frankly. Here at home, particularly my good lady, got fed up saying, didn't you hear me? Did you hear the phone ring or whatever? When we're watching TV, she'd come in and say, turn it down, you know, that's really loud. And I said, well, was it? Very often I'd have to resort to switching to subtitles on the TV. If I go back to where I became first aware of the stress of not being able to hear, you start imagining, well, am I going to end up stone deaf? You know, I needed some help. I went for a test and was told in no uncertain terms, you've got a real problem. So then when I was asked to take part in the Oticon trial, my wife said, well, you know, you've got nothing to lose and I won't have to shout at you quite as often. When I agreed to take part, I was warned it was 3 different meetings. First one, my wife said, does it really take 2 hours to go through all that? And I said, well, it was very detailed, pretty much asking my history, you know, my family, how I worked, whether I worked or not, what I did in my spare time, situations that were testing as far as hearing was concerned. I was then fitted with the Alta. When I left with these in, everything seemed crisp and clearly defined. It's the ability to pick out sounds. I mean, it seems much more naturalistic, that I can sense where the sound's coming from and I can focus more on what I want to hear. Once I got these in, the birds seem to chatter much earlier in the day these days. When they went through the final stage of personalising them, they say the final meeting, it was a case of, well, would you be interested? I said, they really didn't have to ask the question. I said, well, you know, you'd have to bite my hand off to take these away from me now, because I've really felt the improvement. I certainly felt by the end of it that basically if I gave these to a friend and said, I've got hearing aids, try these, it couldn't possibly work as well because these are mine. They've been tuned to my particular issues and problems. Good. The couple of days after I came home with these, we had a birthday party, and I was thinking, well, it's that pub, it's going to be loud, and I'm probably going to not pick up half the conversation. Wait for a plate. I'd followed the conversation, I hadn't missed out on anything, and I kind of forgot I had hearing aids, which was really nice. Here, fishy, fishy. I'm hearing a lot better, and I've said to Joe that give me a few seconds, because it takes me that long to compute what I've heard. I've heard it, and I will respond, but my mouth doesn't seem to have caught up with that idea yet. And lately she said, look, you have heard me, because I'll say pardon and then I'll answer her. So you see, you really did. You heard it all, didn't you? Whoa. She says, if I don't want to hear, I don't. But that's a man thing, isn't it? Oh, look, here's the dark one, quick. That's your lot. Most people that I meet these days, I have to point out I've got hearing aids, and they, oh, really? They're quite surprised. So that's a big factor. The technology is getting smaller and smaller and more flexible to personal needs. I'm quite happy with these, thank you.